today I'm going to show you how to assemble the Force USA Compact Leg Press Hack Squat Combo Unit. That is a mouthful, I apologize. But yeah, I'm going to show you how to assemble it. It's actually very easy. I've already assembled it once before. Step one is laid out on the floor. You will see me recording with my GoPro on my head as well. I'm not really fancy with like editing and I don't have a lot of time, so I have to film it all together. So hopefully the editing comes together at the end and assembling it makes sense. All right, we're gonna start with step one. For the first step, we're just gonna assemble this base frame with these two pieces because they use the same bolts. And that's number 9 on this part list key. So we're gonna go grab the M10 x 70, and there's gonna be 4 of those. So we'll grab those and start there. Now you will also need obviously 8 washers with this, and most of this leg press uses the same washers, which are these on the part list. It's going to be number 6 on the part list, and so yeah, but like I said, this machine typically takes the same washers for everything, so that makes it really super easy and super nice. All right, for these bolts that go in the back of the frame, you're actually going to want to bring them up through the frame because this piece will sit like this and share these bolts. So I'll take these two, lift this up, pop that through. And that just goes on like that. All right, so I'm putting these bolts on the frame right here. Another thing to note to watch out for with this build is these little screws. And so basically there's 2 frame pieces. There's gonna be a front and a back. The back ones are the ones with these holes. So pay attention to the band peg holes and these holes when you are orienting which way the leg press is gonna go and what is the front, what's the back. Okay, for the next step, you have to get bolts that are gonna go horizontal this way. We just did the 2 vertical bolts there. So now there's 2 bolts that go horizontal that way, and 2 bolts that go horizontal that way. So we are going to grab these M1090. We are also going to grab these 4 washers, well actually 8 washers. They're just mostly snug. I'll tighten everything down a little bit more later. With these ones, this is still the M1090s. You don't want to put them in yet because we are going to put this frame piece on top. And kind of like how this one sits on top, this also has to share these same bolts. So just leave these 2, this is from step 1, leave those bolts and washers, or sorry, the nuts and washers off. Same thing, leave those laying there. We will get to those. All right, guys, we're still on step 1. Bear with me. We're going to connect this piece to the rest of the frame. We're going to focus on just these 2 right now. So on the part list number 11, this is the hexagonal head bolt, so M1080, which is right here. I already got them out, so that's where those will be located. And then you need 2 of these larger washers there right in the middle. All right, here is that top frame piece. Those M1090s go right here. All right, as you can see, we left these to the side for now and then didn't put anything on that because now we can get the front all together. And then we can secure those 2 up there with the washer and the nut. All right, these are the pieces you'll need for step 2. You'll need the carriage, you'll need the 2 silver rods, the little U-bolt bracket thing, and then this little, I'll show you what it looks like because it totally makes sense. That's for the silver rails. They just go there. So let's get started. All right, so this is what step 2 looks like, but the cool thing about these instructions is it actually has like a written out instruction. So take a peek at that because it says to insert lock pin into the frame, which is part number 19. So we're gonna wanna do that, and that's just to keep the carriage from sliding up and down while we're trying to assemble this. So this is the locking pin. Go ahead and insert that in the frame to start. Okay, now that we got that locking pin in, we will go ahead and put this carriage on. So I'm just setting it, right now I'm just setting it on that locking pin, and that way we can slide these silver guide rods in. The cool thing is like they are the same on either end, so you don't have to pay attention on which end is the right end. They both will go in. Now at this point, if you are building next to a wall, you might need to scoot this forward. Woo! And be careful, I guess. That might be smart to be careful. So from there, you're going to slide this silver guide rod in to these rollers, just like this. Be careful because they do play. So one there, one on this side, just like that. Now we are going to attach this little cap onto the guide rods using this like giant washer type thing. All right, these are the M1025s. You're gonna need 4 of those. And then it also says we'll need 16 and 10. So we go to 16 here. It looks like it's a spring washer, and 10 is a large flat washer. So we'll grab those. Spring washers are these guys, 2 of those, and then these were the 2 bigger washers we needed. So this is what you'll need for this step. All right, to connect the big silver guide rods into this cap, we just need to start with those 2 bolts. So they just got out. You're gonna put the spring washer on first, then the large washer, and you do that to 2 of them. All right, now we're gonna put this piece over the top. It looks like this. And you're gonna need part from part list 18, which is the M1060s. You're gonna need 4 of those. Same washers we've been using, part 6. And then same lock nuts we've been using, which is number 8 right here. So I already got those out. So here are these. We'll need 4 more washers with it. And then the bolts we've been using the whole time, we'll need 4 of these. All right, next step is we are going to secure these silver rods in the bottom now / front of the leg press. So earlier we got out 4 of the M1025s, which are these shorter ones. So we're gonna use those last 2 now. So it wants a spring washer on it and then a big washer. So kind of same thing from the top. We're gonna secure the bottom the same way because we put these right here in the top of these silver rods, and now we're gonna go put them in the bottom. All right, to start step 3, it looks like, I know this looks like a lot, but we're gonna just focus on one thing at a time. So we're gonna grab this foot plate adjuster. It looks like we need bolts 27 from the part list, M1280. So that's right here in this corner. And it looks like we'll need 2 washers. The washers that it says is 25, which is located right here. So we need 2 of those, and then a bolt 26, which is the bigger lock nut located right here. So you need 1 of those. So we're gonna do 2 washers, a bolt, and that bigger lock nut. Now the nice thing about this is these 2 are identical, so you also don't need to know the difference between them. Just grab one of these. This is what's going to be one of your adjusters for the foot plate. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guide rod 23, and you can see by this point we're using the same 6 and 8 from the part list, which is a lock nut and a washer, just the little ones that we've been using this whole time. So let's find part number 23 here, double head bolt. It says M12270. So that is this top. This is the shorter one on this one. All right, so I got that. We need 2 of these, 2 of these. So this rod is going to slide through our foot plate. Might be good if you have someone to help you with this. All right. All right, so we just did that guide rod through the base plate and the frame. We have this secured right here. So now we're gonna take the bolt that takes this adjuster and hooks it to the frame as well. And it looks like we are gonna need, let's see, number 27. You can barely see that. It's barely pointing to it. 27, which is M1280, which is looking like this other thick one we got out earlier. It's going to need another bigger washer, which came from right here. And then remember, this bolt is bigger, so we need a bigger one of these. And let's grab one more washer. All right, almost done with step 3. Next thing we're gonna do is attach these angled pieces right here. This part's really easy. So we'll start with these bottom bolts and nuts. So basically we're gonna need 17, 16, and 6. So 17 on here is M1025, which is like these short stubby ones. We're gonna need 2 of those. And then 6 is going to be just the flat washers we have been using. So these 2. And then also we're going to need part 16, which is the spring washer. So there's 2 of those left. So the M1025s, the bolts we just got, you're gonna do that, spring washer, and a regular washer. And that's gonna go right here in the base of the frame. All right, next for this angled frame piece, we need 1 bolt that goes through the both of these, and that is number 11, which is M1080. Let's see, where are my M1080s? Right here, this long piece in the middle. So we need that. We're gonna need 2 of the washers we have been using. Oh, that's just gonna fall off. That's cool. Okay, so 2 of those, and then just the regular nut we have been using right there. And that simply goes right through here. Washer. Okay, you get the point. Washer, nut. All right, for step 4, you're gonna need this piece right here. And then to start, we will do the long rod that goes through this. So this is the other long rod that we have in our part kit. So this is 31. There's obviously 1 long rod left, so we already know what that is. Then the 6 and the 8, that's gonna be the washer and the lock nut that we've been using this whole time. So we will grab that and then we'll get that installed. All right, this is gonna be what you need for step 4, this long rod, 2 of these, 2 of those. All right, so this is that piece we just got. The knob needs to go on the left if you're staring right on it. Then this long rod goes through here, the frame, that piece we just got, and through there. Okay, now this needs to go here because this is the back of your seat. So we need to attach this together. So let's check our instructions to see what bolts we need. All right, to attach this piece right here, it looks like we're gonna need 27 and 25, which is M80 and a flat washer. So here is our M80 and then the bigger flat washers that we need. So get 2 of those. And then we're going to need 26, which is the bigger lock nuts on this guy over here. All right, this is how it's looking. All we have left is to attach the cushions and the weight horns over there. So we're gonna start with the butt cushion. As you can see, we need part number 37 coming up from the bottom. So we're gonna go over here to our bolts and stuff. 37 looks like it is M870. So these guys right here, these long skinny ones. So it's telling us we need 4 of them. So I'll get 4 of those out. All right, now to attach the backrest, we need 36, which is M840, which are these right here. We also need smaller flat washers, which are right there. We got 4 of those. All right, guys, all we have to do is install the weight horns and the little pads to the shoulder attachment. So this is going to be super easy because this is basically the rest of the bolts on this step 6. So we're going to start with the weight horns. The weight horns want the same washers and lock nuts we've been using, 6 and 8. And then we're going to use, I believe, let's see, 17. And that's going to be M1025, which are the rest of these guys up here, these short stubby ones. All right, we're going to take those M1025s and put the washers on them. It's just like these washers we've been using the whole time. So I'll do that and we'll get this rolling. All right, when you slide these weight horns in, because they'll obviously be on the floor, you want to make sure that the handles are pointing down towards the foot plate. You don't want them like that though. make sure they're up in a position where you'd want to grab them sitting on the seat. So just like that, and then all those bolts we just grabbed, nothing special about them. There is 4 holes. Let me see. 4 holes just like that, all the way around. And yeah, so install those, and you're gonna be almost done. All right, last 4 bolts for the shoulder pads. These are the M870s, and then you're gonna need the last 4 washers right here. And those 4 bolts just secure these on the bottom here of the shoulder attachment, and then that's the last step. All right, guys, one more thing to do, and that's to install the cat plug. There you go.